I want maximum silence in the auditorium. I don't want to hear chairs moving. Please. We are going live in a minute, and I want the best sound quality. Hi, Maria. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
You're doing great. Okay, so this is what is going to happen. You have 4 minutes. You're going to have 4 minutes. Yeah, you can only go above by just a minute. Yes. When it is a minute to go, Churchill is going to raise a hand. When you're finished a minute, he's going to raise a hand. You can only go beyond by 1 minute, so you can only use 5. But if you can use 4, that is great. Yes. So, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Great. When you're ready, you can take it away.
Knowledge is power, but only when you turn on the switch. A very good morning to all our dear viewers. Thank you for staying tuned to NDC TV, your trusted source of information. With me, Nachitendo Maria Goretti, your news anchor. Before we dive into today's news, let us start with the news headlines. Security guard shoots dead an Arsenal fan. Uganda's humanitarian support to the Syrian refugees. Kampala chokes. The waste management crisis reaches the boiling point. Now the news in details. The security guard identified as Richard Okecho in Kalungu District, Central Uganda, shot dead John Senyonga, a man known among peers as a staunch Arsenal fan. Trouble started at midnight when Arsenal fans started jubilating after their favorite team had scored the second goal. This prompted the manager of the restaurant to turn off the electricity, and in response, the already overjoyed Arsenal fans started shouting on top of their voices, prompting Okecho to shoot dead John and injuring another who is now in the hospital. On the other hand, Uganda has over 1.7 million refugees, the largest in Africa and the 6th largest in the world. However, with widely open hands, Uganda agrees to host thousands of Syrian refugees fleeing conflict and violence in their country. The United Nations High Commission for Refugees is working with the Ugandan government to provide assistance and support to these refugees. Meanwhile, poor waste disposal is a significant environmental issue in Uganda, with severe consequences on public health, the economy, and the environment as well. According to the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, the main causes of poor waste disposal in Uganda today include inadequate waste management, lack of enforcement of environmental regulations, and limited public awareness about the importance of waste disposal. It will always be remembered that on 9th August 2024, Chitezi landfill experienced a severe waste landslide, resulting into the loss of at least 21 lives and displacing about thousands of people. And at this juncture, we are privileged to be visited by Ms. Hanan Noe Wanda, a spokesperson of KCCA, Kampala Capital City Authority. Ms. Hannah, you are most welcome to today's show.
Thank you very much.
Within a few words, would you introduce yourself to our dear viewers?
My name is Hannah Noe Wanda, and I'm the spokesperson of Kampala, of KCCA.
Kampala is expected to be a cleaner city, the fact that it is the capital city, but currently it is the contrary. So, Ms. Hannah, what has prohibited us from attaining tidiness in the capital city?
Well, first of all, there is pollution and poor waste management. The people think that the ones who are affected are farther away from them exactly, but they don't realize that the pollutant that they throw affects them and everybody else around them. So there's pollution and poor waste management. They have wastes, but they don't know how to manage them. And so they don't even know how to use the 5 hours.
Thank you very much. So, how are you looking forward to addressing these issues, because the city needs to be kept clean?
First of all, is sensitizing people through different social media platforms, through televisions, radios, and newspapers, telling them on how they could manage the wastes through mainly the 5 hours. Yeah.
Thank you. Within a few words, what would you say to our dear viewers?
I tell them to stay clean because the environment is it's choking. The nature is choking, so they should stay clean and stay safe.
Thank you very much, Miss Noe Wande. It has been an honor having you here. And to our dear viewers, it is all our concern to make sure that we keep our city clean. Thank you for listening. Till we meet again. Stay blessed.
Well done, Maria Goretti Nachitende. And your interviewee? Okay. All right. I'm going to have Chigundo Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
You're fine. Talk to me from the mic.
I'm fine.
You're fine.
Yes,
Are you ready?
I think so. I
Okay.
don't know, but
You don't know. Breathe. When you're ready, you can take it away. So you have 5 minutes. When you've used one, Churchill will tell you by raising a hand. And when you have one to go, he'll raise a hand too. All the best.
Thank you. Good evening. This is NBS Live at 9. These are our top stories. Experts warn that Kampala will be prone to constant floods if action is not taken to protect the wetlands. Speaker of Uganda's Parliament, Right Honorable Anita Among, flags off parliamentary team to the East African Parliamentary Games in Nairobi, Kenya. And in sports news, construction of Akibua Olympic Stadium to commence next year, according to Honorable Hamson Obua, the Minister of State for Sports. We'll be back from the headlines. This is NBS Live at 9. I'm Chigundo Abdurrahman, and today we'll kick off our top story, the wetland crisis in Uganda. We bring you a compelling and multifaceted look on this particular rapid loss of wetlands in Uganda. First, we'll explore the facts and figures behind the environmental crisis. Then we'll move into an exclusive interview with a conservation expert. And finally, we'll conclude with an in-depth analysis on the way forward. Let's begin with our top story. Wetlands, often called the kidneys of the earth, play a critical role in water purification, flood control, and biodiversity in Uganda. These ecosystems once covered 12% of the country's land area in 1999, but fast forward to 2024, and 22.5% of wetlands are reducing and are lost annually. But then what happens in the longer run? We have an insight from Felix Onan Olindi, who happens to have a PhD in environmental law and policy, and currently is the environmental conservation lawyer for National Environment Management Authority. Mr. Felix, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me, Abdurrahman.
Can you introduce yourself again if there's anything I have left to say about you?
Well, I'm not the person of titles, but I think you did justice to that. I serve as an environmental conservation lawyer with the National Environmental Authority, and I'm excited to join this conversation on how we can protect wetlands in the country. Thank you.
Okay. Now let's dive into it. Why are wetlands so crucial, and what does their loss mean for Uganda at large?
I think that firstly, we know that wetlands control pollution, or they purify the air that we breathe. And for a country that is rapidly getting industrialized like Uganda, you need some of these things that are supposed to be, buffers to the pollution that happens, but also where we have a poor drainage system and we destroy wetlands that are supposed to absorb most of the water that comes from heavy rains, for example, then we put ourselves at risk. But from a legal perspective, Abdurrahman, as lawyers, we have principles that govern environmental law and policy, principles of sustainable development, and most of the environmental crises or wetland crises that we have are tied to how irresponsibly we use the environment or we do development. So to that extent, even the argument that we want to develop does not make sense, because at the end of the day, the government is working to protect, is putting up these investments for us to live a better life. So if people are dying of floods, if people in Chitezi are being killed by a landfill, then you realize that, wetlands are crucial for us to survive.
Thank you for that submission. But that is very concerning. But what steps can be taken to reverse this trend of this multifaceted problem?
Well, I think we have a gap in law and policy. One, we make the laws, and we have the policy. For example, we have the NEMA Act, we have the Uganda Wetland Management Regulations, and many others. But notice that what we seek to make, for example, to protect the environment, criminalizing reclamation and all that, does not work because the government is influenced by other people. So we need to be stringent on our application of the law and policy, Abdul
Thank you,
Rahman.
thank you, Felix, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your insight and opinion. Now let's close off this story with an analysis on what this means for Uganda's future. So what we get from Felix is that the loss of wetlands is not just an environmental issue, but also a socio-economic and a public health crisis. This increased flooding damages homes and infrastructure, while polluted water supplies and jeopardizes health and livelihoods. However, he tells us that hope still remains. With a combination of policy enforcement, community engagement, and innovative restoration techniques, Uganda can protect what remains of its wetlands and even reclaim lost ones. The stakes are high, but solutions are within reach. It is up to all of us, governments, communities, and individuals to act before it's too late. Now, on to our next story. The Right Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda has flagged off the parliamentary team to the East African Parliamentary Games. This comes after Uganda is set to defend their record-winning extending run of 12 times of winning this particular competition. And what we get from the speaker is that they are going to be better this year, and they are going to bring back all the trophies we lost, including the netball final we lost last year. And to summarize it all, in sports news, we see that the construction of Akibua Stadium has set to commence in February of 2025, according to the Minister of State for Sports. Thank you for joining us on NBS Live at 9. I'm Chigunda Abdurrahman. Stay informed, stay engaged, and take action for a sustainable future.
Wow, Chigundu, well done. Well done. Thank you for that presentation. And now I'm going to have Arinda Blair. Arinda Blair. Blair, how are you doing?
I'm good.
You're good.
Yes.
Okay. Are you ready to start?
Let me first check something on my phone, then when I'm ready, I'll let you know.
Pardon?
Let me check something here.
Okay. Okay, Blair, you can start.
And in our sad news today, coming in from Kasongola, headmaster reps a student. A very good morning, everyone out there. My name is Ainda Blair. Welcome to News 24/7, and I'm very glad that you are still alive and kicking. Now let's start with the news headlines. Headmaster in Kasongola reps a student. 49 feared dead in a motor accident. And in sports news, Uganda Cranes qualifies for AFCON. Now let's dive into news intel. Headmaster in Kasongola district rapes a student. This is said that the headmaster had convinced the student after the headmaster promised the student a scholarship, whereby the headmaster told the student to come into the room and have some discussions. However, it turned out that the headmaster had his own intentions. At the end of the day, the headmaster had convicted the student into the acts of sin, exposing her nature into the unwanted. And for more of this story, tonight we host an expert about girl child education in our studio. Let us have a discussion with an expert. Sorry about that. In studio, we host an expert about girl child education. This is someone who has been through many vendors of girl child education, knows what a girl child needs. Mr. Regan, you are highly welcome. Please introduce yourself to people looking at us.
Thank you very much. My name is Alnito Regan, an activist and a feminist by nature. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Mr. Regan, what forced you to join the Girl Child?
Well, in the first place, this is a 21st century where we need equal opportunities for all. And I deemed it wise that we should all move at the same pace, because initially priorities were being given to the boy child, and a girl child has been going through a lot. And having seen pioneers like Wangai Masai in Kenya, John Health Salif in Liberia.
I'm sorry to cut you short, Mr. Regan, but I want you to analyze the situation the girl child is going through. In our story we read, we saw a girl child being raped. What do you say about it as an expert?
Well, the girl child has been undergoing a lot of trauma,
Yes.
so that they do not go ahead to let the experts know. So we saw
So,
twice.
what are you trying to mean? You are saying that the girl child is in danger right now?
The girl child in deep villages, she's in danger.
So, because the statistics tell us that out of the 10 girls who start school, only 2 complete the level they start. What could be the major problem?
Exactly, number one, there are parents who still have stereotypes and misconceptions that education perhaps is meant for the boy child.
So, is the problem the parents or the government?
It is a two-way, a 50-50 way, but initially you see, it starts from the ground level, partly
get
the
you.
parents.
So, what do you think can be done to end this crisis?
You see, Nelson Mandela once said,
Yes.
information is power. I believe sensitization is the key to go.
But do you think this war can be won?
This war can be won.
So, what do you have as plans for the boy child?
The plans for the boy child.
Yes.
We have currently started up an organization called Live a Dream.
Yes.
And we feel that it is a way of advocating for the rights of the boy child as well, and show the need that now we see we have the formative action when you're getting to universities and what.
I get you. In your concluding marks, give hope to the boy child and the girl child out there. What can they expect from you, and what are you trying to bring on board?
Well, what we are trying to bring on board is equal opportunities for all, looking at the world where we are heading to.
Yes.
We need equal opportunities where people can apply for a job, or even when they are on a job, they can be promoted on merit rather than gender-based.
Thank you so much for your time. That was Mr. Alnito Regan, an activist for the girl child education. That's what he had for us. Let us continue with our news for tonight. To wrap it up for tonight, let's look at the sports news. Uganda Cranes qualifies for AFCON for the first time in the 21st century. The Uganda Cranes qualifies for the AFCON after beating Zimbabwe 2-1, a goal that was scored by Alan Okello, a Ugandan lad that has just come into the team. This great news came in after the match they had at Nachivo Stadium, and we do hope that the team is going to have the best. Thank you so much for tuning in to News 24/7. See you next time. Thank you so much.
Wow, well done, Blair. Thank you for the presentation. And now I am going to have Cindy Rosanna Niwatu Highway. Cindy Rosanna Niwatu Highway. Rosanna, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Are you ready to start? Okay. Take it away.
In a shocking turn of events, Uganda's anti-corruption efforts have been called into question. A recent walk against corruption led by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has been deemed a mockery by analysts. This raises serious concerns about the government's commitment to tackling corruption. Join me, Cindy Rosanna, on Waikiki TV, and let's dive into the scourge of corruption. We take a closer look at the issue with an exclusive interview with a high-ranking official supposedly accused of corruption. But first, the headlines. Corruption walk, a mockery or a genuine effort. Corruption costs Uganda trillions. We speak to a minister in the government. And now, the news in details. First, the corruption walk. So, what's behind the president's sudden interest in fighting corruption? Is it a genuine effort to tackle the problem, or is it just a clever PR move? Our team spoke to an expert in issues associated with corruption, Mr. Lubega Akram, and he says that while the walk against corruption is a good gesture, it's not enough. We need to see concrete actions from the government to tackle corruption. The walk against corruption has also raised questions about the government's commitment to transparency and accountability. Apparently, Uganda has been ranked among the most corrupt countries in the world, which raises the question, is the walk the best we can do to eradicate it? Now let's go straight into our interview with the embattled official, Minister of State for Education, Mrs. Kemijisha Anita Singha. Minister Anita, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
You have been accused of embezzling funds meant for education. How do you respond to these allegations?
Me? No. Do you have any proof against me?
There is evidence. Documents show that millions of shillings were transferred from the Education Ministry's account to your personal account.
No. That money you're talking about, I don't know about it. What document shows? What is that document you're talking about?
It has been released on the government's page that millions of shillings were transferred into your personal account without any interest.
No, that was a loan that was given to me by a friend. So let me ask you, when a friend gives you money, do you need to put in interest?
Madam, you are diverting from the original question. I am asking you, why is money shifting from the government's account to your personal account?
About that, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe if it is your government that you're talking about.
Okay. Yes, Minister Anita, it's time to come clean. The people of Uganda deserve to know the truth.
Yes, so the people of Uganda, I want to tell you, the money they are talking about, I don't know if the government wants to give it to me or maybe it's coming. But about the money, I don't know about the money they are talking about. It was from a friend, personal issues, nothing like that.
Unfortunately, that's all we had for today. Thank you, Honorable Anita Singha, for your time.
You're welcome.
It's clear that corruption runs deep in Uganda's government. The minister's responses only raise more questions. As analyst Ampurira Trust puts it, the walk against corruption is just a publicity stunt. What we need is real action, not just empty promises. The people of Uganda deserve better. They deserve a government that is transparent, accountable, and truly committed to fighting corruption. Until then, the cycle of corruption will continue to erode trust and undermine the development of the country. In the face of corruption, silence is not an option. We must speak out, we must act, and we must demand better for a brighter future for Uganda free from corruption. As the renowned African leader Nelson Mandela once put it, the fight against corruption is not a fight for the faint of heart. It is a fight that requires courage, perseverance, and a commitment to justice. Thank you for joining us today on Waikiki TV for the news. I'm Cindy Rosanna. Until next time, good day.
Wow, well done, Cindy Rosanna. Okay, everyone who is in the room, I really ask you reduce your voices. The people who are behind. Thank you. I'm going to have Nimanya Ruthi Faith as she's coming on stage. The creative dancers, please be outside because your genre is next. Thank you. Thirty seconds to finish up. Okay, how are you doing, Ruthie Faith?
I'm very fine.
Very fine, okay. So, are you ready to start? All right, take it away. Can I have silence in the room, please? Who is that young man standing behind? Can I have silence? Thank you. You can start.
Good evening, our dear viewers. 12th December 2024, happy Gingerbread House Day. My name is Ruthie Faith Nimanya, your news anchor for today on this 9 p.m. news bulletin on Imak TV. Well, breaking boundaries, today's story. Unprecedented heat scorch waves scorch the temperatures of the globe. The news in details. Unprecedented fall heat waves scorch the globe as world temperatures record a high rise. I spoke to Maria Rodriguez, a 35-year-old woman who owns 2 children, and she was crying because her house had burnt down because of the devastating wildfires that sparked off yesterday. I couldn't help but wonder what is causing these extreme weather events. The answer lies in the alarming statistics. Now, according to the World Health Organization, in connection with the United Nations Work Frame Convention on Climate Change, the past month has recorded a 30% increase on the temperatures of the globe, 25 degrees Celsius as the temperatures of the 20th century above the Northern Hemisphere. 2024 shaping out to be the hottest year, recorded so far. Now, the temperatures are currently recorded at 1.2 degrees Celsius, and we see that as a very alarming temperature. This intense heat has led to several droughts in Africa, with over 10 million people dying and very many others left in tears. We also see that countries like United States of America and Australia are facing devastating wildfires, which lead to so much destruction in those particular countries. We also see very many diseases like heat stroke, heat cramps, which are affecting very many people. I still wonder, and when we decided to unearth what is causing these particular events, we decided to talk to Dr. Charles Akram, a very much informed personnel on the climate change factor, but unfortunately he could not connect with us today. So we are going to connect to him online. Good evening, Dr. Charles.
Good evening, Ruthie Faith.
It is so unfortunate that you couldn't be with us today, but I hope this goes well.
Okay.
So, doctor, please let us know what is in particular causing these extreme weather events, and to talk about today's topic, fall heat waves.
According to my recent research, there are three factors. One of them is the natural factors, the global warming, the green gases, the green gas emissions, and the second factor is the natural factors, no, beg your pardon, the human factors, whereby there are many vehicle emissions and also the charcoal burning.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, doctor, for telling us that information. And now we do know what is actually causing these extreme weather events, and in particular, fall heat waves. So, ladies and gentlemen, we did talk to another climate change activist and policy expert, and this is what he got to tell us. He tells us that we can change the conversation from a crisis rather to sustainability. This is what he says. Transitioning to renewable energy so as to shift from fossil fuels which cause global warming, setting up weather resilient infrastructure, I beg your pardon, that is convenient for these weather conditions, and having massive public awareness about these particular weather events. So, ladies and gentlemen, it comes back to you and I, you watching Imac TV. Let us work together so that we can fight for sustainability, because when we do have sustainability, it is a happier and healthier and much better life for us all. Coming to the weather updates, we do see a heavy storm heading to Botswana, heading to Malawi and Uganda. So, ladies and gentlemen, watch out as you move out. Remember to take an umbrella, or you can stay indoors until further notice. Do not touch that microphone, do not touch that remote, I beg your pardon, because coming up next is DJ Neptune on the mic, and he is going to bring to you your best and latest tunes. This has been Imac TV. With you, Ruthie Faith Nimanya. Until next time, have a blessed night.
Wow, that was amazing. And that marks the end of our news anchoring genre for the senior category. Thank you.